My fascination with trains began in a couple of different ways. One, of course, riding with my family on passenger trains, and the other was playing with toy trains. The toy train part, I think, is related to my fascination with building models like plastic model kits. Just like today, millions of people just love miniatures of all kinds. They love to collect them and they love to build them. My very first train set was a gift from my father, an American Flyer train set. I might have been maybe, 9 years old, something like that. The set featured an American Flyer K325 Steam Hudson, which was a used train. That particular model came out in 1952, 3 years before I was born. So the train set when I got it was already about 12 years old. Of course, those trains were built to last many years, made all heavy metal construction on tin plate track, pretty much kid-proof for the most part. To start with, it was just a Christmas tree decoration around the tree, but it quickly became just a fun thing to play with. The train set consisted of an engine and tender, a few freight cars, a transformer, a few switches and some track, and these little plastic trestles people used to put grades in their layout so you could do like over and under configurations. I pretty much played with that train until about time to go to high school, and then it went into boxes, and that was pretty much it. After that, whenever they moved, the train in boxes moved with them. And then eventually, of course, I ended up with them and I hauled it around boxes. I never brought it out of the box to try to run it. Maybe a general lack of interest and the fact that who knows if it would even run again, I don't know. But it was that way for decades and I just never did anything with it. For the most part, after I left home for school, I just abandoned the idea of model railroading altogether. Instead, I gravitated toward computer, high-tech, and related creative pursuits like music, graphic design, digital video, that sort of thing. About 7 years ago, along came a grandson. When he was about 4, my wife suggested, hey, let's put the train up for Christmas. So I pulled the old train set out of the box to see what I had, which was kind of a mess. The whole thing ended up with me tearing apart the steam engine and rebuilding the whole thing from the ground up just to get it to run. Then, on my birthday, I requested people to give me Amazon gift cards, and I bought a brand new American Flyer engine, one that was made by Lionel. This brings me to a little bit of history. When A.C. Gilbert, the founder of American Flyer brand, passed away, his company, American Flyer, was purchased by Lionel in 1967. It wasn't until 1979 that Lionel, along with its own O-Scale brand, began to sell new American Flyer trains. Without going into great detail, Lionel itself went through numerous changes of ownership in order to keep their brand alive. The last corporate move was just this year. They were purchased by a group called Round 2 LLC, a collectible company backed by the private equity firm Presidian Capital. The two companies then merged to form a new entity called Lionel Brands Group, which officially launched in March of this year. The new portfolio combines a bunch of other hobby brands that will allow for more investment in that market. And they still sell a brand new American Flyer stuff. It was just a few years ago before Lionel's latest merger that I got this locomotive using my Amazon money, a Berkshire steam locomotive with literally all the bells and whistles. Here's a video of the real actual train that the one I got was based on. Now here's some footage of my trains. Two passenger sets, a two-tone green Northern Pacific, a red and orange Southern Pacific passenger set. Good stuff. And then two diesel engines with freight cars running around the dining room table. But, of course, at some point, it's got to go back in boxes and back into the garage because there's just no more room to put those anywhere else. I mean, they really are beautiful trains, and one day it would be great to have a room dedicated to do that, but not happening right now. So Now here are two photos, one featuring my very original Hudson steam engine American Flyer alongside the very same locomotive only in N scale. And then another picture of diesel, one of my American Flyer diesels and the same class of engine in N scale. You can see the comparative size. N scale came from Germany in the 60s and then into Japan and the US under various brand names. Because its size and the fact that you can still get lots of detail in them, it's become the second most popular scale next to HO. So I built my first scale train layout in N scale, 32 by 58 inches. This would be my very first attempt at designing and building a layout from scratch, working with plaster and landscape materials to structures and lighting, the whole bit. All those buildings were built from kits except one that was pre-built. I ran that layout for a while. And then it was time to build another one, for a couple of reasons. I guess one, just a time for a change. The other, I needed to reorganize the space to give me more room in the office. So I pulled off the structures and the lights and saved those. Otherwise, the whole rest of the layout was just given away to somebody. I've already started building the next layout, which is going to be 27 by 52, just small enough to fit better in the space I have without being intrusive. Anyway, the new layout is going to be an industrial layout with industrial buildings and stuff to do some switching. And then a second level, which will be kind of more of like a small urban area with some shops or whatever. I'm not sure exactly, but I'll figure it out. I'll save one or two buildings from the last layout, but all the other structures will be built new from kits, which I've been hoarding over the past few years. It's a great hobby and it's pretty fun to do. I'll probably talk some more about this whole process, but for now, that'll be it. So until next time.